Hello and welcome. Thank you all so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Spend a few minutes with me today as we share some insights and discuss the future of what was arguably one of the most popular mid-market business management software systems in the US and beyond. At one point, having over 47,000 businesses on the platform, Dynamics has been the gold standard for accounting applications and beyond. My name is Jory Weissman. I am a partner here at Citrin Cooperman Digital Services, and I've spent the entirety of my career helping mid-market businesses implement technology solutions across a variety of industries, including manufacturing, distribution, retail, commerce, and way beyond. Dynamics GP has been a significant part of my professional career as it has had an impact on your business, and excited to share with you some insights about that solution today. Just a little bit of housekeeping notes. The session should run just under 30 minutes today. Really want to be respectful of your time. So we try to aggregate and condense the most relevant information for your consideration. Just please know that the opinions being expressed are just that, interpretations of the facts that have been presented by Microsoft and other affiliates, and always encourage you to do your own research and beyond. And certainly feel free to reach out to us, as my associate Stephen pointed out, with any Q&A or follow-up questions. We'd be delighted to chat with you about that. From an agenda perspective, we'll focus immediately on updates to the recent GP announcements concerning the life cycle of the product. We're going to focus in on some of those support plans and the impact that those recent announcements have on the various support plans that are in place, some changes to very key dates, and we'll focus in a little bit on the difference between mainstream and extended support. Try to simplify this so you have a very crystal clear picture on what you can expect. And then we'll talk about the short and long-term implications of these moves, right? And most importantly, what are some of your options? We'll discuss various interim strategies we can assist with as you plan your next and thinking about replacing Dynamics GP, and some options and some ERP implementation strategies as well. I found this quote to be pretty appropriate, and as long as I've been working in the GP community, certainly over the past 10 to 15 years, all I've been hearing about is the death of GP, and it hadn't quite come to pass. And at those points, perhaps a little bit exaggerated. I know Microsoft fueled some of that fire with a talk of something they called Project Green many years ago, where they were going to take all of their on-premise solutions and integrate them into one and halt support for the other solutions, but that had yet to happen. Of course, that is until now, because the recent announcements that they have made is officially the end of the line as it relates to GP, just a question of the when. So let's look at some of these key announcements and dive right on in. The most important thing that had been announced previously was the fact as of April 1st, 2025, no new perpetual licenses sales will be made to new customers. Effectively, in my opinion, as a technologist, really the death blow for the solution itself. In any business, having an influx of new clients, having an influx of revenue, having a healthy ecosystem in a growing, expanding market is the life's blood, especially in a technology-centric arena. And not having new revenue, new lifeblood flowing into the business certainly cuts down on any of the advancements the application is going to be able to make. Not to mention the ecosystem of solutions that Microsoft depended on. It was that ecosystem that gave it its power, the apps market, if you will. And having a platform that has announced that it's no longer going to expand new clients from an investment perspective from outside organizations within that ecosystem, certainly not a great value proposition as they think about moving forward. What you may have already seen or be aware of is that for older versions, that would be anything that is 18.2, GP 18.2 and prior, mainstream support has already expired last year. So if you're still on some of those older versions, that means you're pretty much on extended support window here. And I put an asterisk there because, as we have seen now, Microsoft although making certain announcements has made changes. And so I would just keep a watchful eye on when that extended support window will close. But literally, that is right around the corner. The newest announcement is really around the modern lifecycle, what's called mainstream support. And we're going to go into the differences between mainstream support and fixed lifecycle support and extended support. But seeing here that the mainstream support on the modern lifecycle will end on September 30th, 2029. So literally in less than 5 years, users will be significantly impacted, even if they are staying on the modern lifecycle program. And we'll talk about that shortly. And then finally, the modern lifecycle extended life support will end on April 30th, 2031, according to the Microsoft announcements. So while it does give us some time to plan, the costs associated to maintaining modern lifecycle management can be a bit challenging. So we'll get into that in a few minutes as well. So let's first talk about some definitions, mainstream versus extended support, so we can be pretty clear on the differences between them. So mainstream support is what you would typically expect in the release of a new software product, and on the fixed lifecycle program, Microsoft has always provided a 5-year support window, and that was going to give you new releases, updates, service packs, builds, and patches. Will get you your tax and your year-end updates, and of course, the all-important security updates. The interesting thing about the mainstream support on a product that has announced no new clients coming into the environment, the level of upgrade that you're going to get, the level of enhancement that you're going to get is going to be reflective of the fact that the product is really not on the future roadmap. Fewer investment dollars are going to move into this. And again, in a scenario where the technology companies are investing billions of dollars into their software platforms, not having that influx of that revenue is certainly going to impact what you're going to receive in the way of updates. And then from an extended support plan perspective, you'll see that there will be no warranty support, no new design changes or features, limited to security updates to keep the application moving forward from a security and stability perspective. But let's look at what that really means. So the fixed lifecycle products, again, anything prior to GP 18.2 and prior, as you can see, that mainstream support ended here in 2023, extended support ending out here in 2028. The transition point was 18.3 forward, getting yourself onto a modern lifecycle. And the difference there is that Microsoft's plan in a modern lifecycle is to have a continuous flow of support with no fixed end date. That is, of course, until now, where they've suggested that as of 2029, that is that end date. And so there'll be no further beyond to this product line, beyond this timeline. And what I did is I broke out, because we know that so many clients in the GP landscape don't upgrade very often. Looking here, I would hope nobody in the audience today is running GP 2015 or in that zone, but certainly if you are on 2016, 2018, and there are many who are on these versions. I've talked to countless organizations that are still running it because they have so many customizations baked in. It's just so challenging for them to upgrade, but they're having a very real dilemma to face come 2026. And even if you're up to 2018 R2, getting through to 2028, it's really time to start thinking about making those changes. We're going to include this slide in the deck. I don't want to spend too much more time on it because this is really about what the go-forward strategy is and how to get yourself onto a modern lifecycle so that at least you can extend that support window. So I wanted to focus on some of the benefits that you get. The current version right now is GP 18.7, and that is covered under the modern lifecycle policy. That will give you support and servicing to fix your bugs and get you the latest tax updates. But these updates will typically include hot fixes and relevant regulatory updates, not necessarily usability updates. It's not going to give you the kind of bang for your buck that you would expect in terms of current and emerging technologies. One of the most important things to talk about here is that the eligibility requires that you must be current. So if you want to stay involved in that modern life cycle and have more of a mainstream support approach, customers are required to adopt at least one of the 3 comprehensive annual updates. And that would be true for any of your security updates. So we know through history that the vast majority of GP users don't upgrade very often. In fact, many of them upgrade every 2 to 3, maybe 4 years. And some go beyond that, even 4 or 5 years before they upgrade. So understanding the rigor that's involved in staying eligible to receive this support is a key thing for you to know. And so I thought it was important to think about what are some of the barriers that an organization faces and why people who run Dynamics GP don't traditionally upgrade very often. And getting on this kind of a rapid annual upgrade cycle can be challenging. Certainly, it requires way more planning, downtime, risk, and expense. If anybody here in the audience has gone through a GP upgrade, no doubt you know what I'm talking about. There's a degree of pain that's involved in doing it. And that involves more frequent retrofitting and testing and repairs to the integrations that inevitably will need to be retrofitted, right? When you have GP being used as a back-end repository for other line of business applications, building whether you're using eConnect or even consuming CSV files, or have done any level of integration where that stuff has to be retested and be sure that all the information is flowing properly. Same thing with your reporting tools. If you're using Management Reporter to run your financial statements, you know what I'm talking about. Every time you do an upgrade, invariably links break, has to be tested. If you develop SSRS reports, you're going to want to go through that process. And then the worst one of them all is dealing with the customizations. That when you have customizations within the GP environment, they do need to be retrofitted and test and work and go through that process. And along that same line, we talk about the ISV community, this ecosystem of apps that's built for GP. You have to align yourself with those vendors and manage to do a concurrent upgrade of their application as well. And the concern there is we're seeing many of these vendors wholesale pull out of the marketplace entirely, not investing, not supporting in the product, and then others who do remain certainly challenging because their focus is going to be on the products that are selling to new consumers. Their focus is going to be on the new cloud-based ERP solutions, not pouring innovation into a platform that really doesn't have much of a future. And then, of course, when you're doing these upgrades, it's thinking about the infrastructure requirements, right? Configuration of new servers, keeping your server operating system, your desktop operating system, your current, your SQL Server versions current, making sure that you basically have a matching set of equipment to support the new technology. Certainly no easy task to stay current within this modern life cycle requirement. And then there are these others that I like to call the multipliers, right? Dealing with everything we had on the previous slide is certainly challenging enough. If you're a financials only implementation, that has one level of complexity. But if you're using it, as many of you do, for a full ERP suite, supply chain, manufacturing, warehouse scanning, you name it, certainly a far more complex upgrade cycle to think about. And to do that every year can be a daunting proposition. Many of you that are just dealing with financials run multiple entities or subsidiaries. Each one of those databases need to be upgraded and you need to do integrity checks on that data and make sure everything moves over smoothly and correctly. And then what are the extent and the type of customizations? Obviously, you have some forms, reports, low-level customizations, kind of easy. You have dexterity modifications or others, VB-connected modifications, makes it infinitely more challenging, as well as the number of ISV solutions. So when you think about the complexities in general, just to upgrade the solution in a single database versus having these multipliers, it really can be very challenging. It's a real dichotomy that they created. It's a modern life cycle tethered to a legacy application. And for me, it's like forcing a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't fit. It may work in a cloud environment where the upgrade rigor is infinitely easier, but certainly dealing with it in this landscape can be quite challenging. There's also a number of hidden costs that I'd like to share with you today as well. Number one, and we see this here as someone who actively continues to support Dynamics GP, and we still do that, and we'll want to help our clients for as long as we possibly can. But there is, frankly, limited technical expertise. It is not a growing market. Right? It is a shrinking market. It's an aging and retiring talent pool. I mean, listen, I've been doing it for an extended period of time, fortunate enough to move into new technologies to give the career a second leg. But there are many who just don't have the skills today. No one coming out of school, no one learning new technology is going to learn dexterity or learn some of the old Microsoft tool sets to be able to work on that technology. And the ones that remain, they'll be costly and more in demand and very hard to contend with. And then, of course, I talked about the ISV solution just exiting the market, but that will result in potentially higher integration costs, where you have to build your own integrations from those applications as opposed to relying on those ISV connections. And then it's just a general loss of focus, right? Microsoft has shifted on. Even a casual observer of their stock performance knows it's all about the cloud relative to Microsoft. And Microsoft's shift towards modern technology has just de-emphasized its focus. So even if you are staying in mainstream support and doing those annual upgrades, the value of what you're going to get out of that is significantly less. And that really relates to the inflated cost of doing nothing, right? And I'll draw your attention to this one square here, which talks about reduced ability to attract qualified talent. And 5 or 10 years ago, I would have dismissed this statement as, marketing nonsense. But the reality of it is that users have expectations. The UX, the user interface, the user experience, that matters today. The design, the way the software functions, having a pleasant working environment in a forward-leaning organization is going to enable you to attract more talent and help the business grow. There's also a loss of efficiency. Your competitors are moving on with more advanced workflow, with AI and ML. Having modern features and innovation are a thriving part of what's helping a business grow. And then, of course, you're going to face increased training and support costs. For some people who do come into your business, having them kind of take a step back and to work with a tool like GP can be challenging. And the most important part is the risk that you will confront in keeping that system afloat and operational. And a couple of notes that I found in a Gartner survey that was done is that 89% of respondents with access to automation and AI tools agree they feel more fulfilled. Again, not something to just fluff off as an insignificant statistic, and that 91% of all users say that it has helped make their businesses more successful, and 60% have reported saving time and enjoying greater efficiency. Certainly, accounting and finance being at the epicenter of what Microsoft Dynamics GP users do, having the greatest level of efficiency, saving time, saving money is at the heart of that. And certainly key. So what are your migration options? What can you really do about it at this point? Well, two things that focus on ERP, one that's a little bit unusual. On the first one, we can migrate to Dynamics Business Central, which is something that we can help you to do, or they have a larger scale enterprise application called Finance and Operations. The thing to point out there is that there is no silver bullet that moves you from Dynamics GP to Dynamics Business Central. It's actually a brand new separate ERP system. And you'll have to extract your data, you'll have to convert your data. You want to think about normalizing that and getting your data aligned to a more modern technology platform so that you can do all of these advanced things that I was talking about in the previous slide and beyond. But certainly there are advantages to staying within the family, and Microsoft Business Central is a very credible solution. What we see a lot of organizations also doing is migrating to a more native cloud application like NetSuite. NetSuite is becoming the gold standard relative to financial and business management applications. VC and PE firms are certainly like to have all of their portfolio companies using it, and certainly fast growth organizations are using it because it offers a degree of simplicity of use, but robust architecture that people are looking for. And then a third thing that we'll talk about is web enabling some of your GP data now. And I recognize that moving and ripping and replacing an ERP solution is a very challenging thing for business to do, and not a decision to be taken lightly. We'll talk about some things that we're doing to help businesses get there. But an interesting thing that we've seen, which takes some of the pressure off of data migration strategies, is web enabling your data with modern cloud-based tools such as Power BI or Power Apps. And while it's not going to process ERP, it can move your information into a cloud platform. And so that we know some of the big expense associated to migrating your data to an ERP implementation is migrating your data. This is a very interesting strategy that we've been able to employ that takes some of the pressure off and gives you access to your business information in a very consumable way. The benefits of a cloud ERP are unquestioned. Again, according to a Gartner study, by 2027, more than 50% of enterprises will use some form of industry cloud application. And that's 79 or nearly 80% of small and mid-market organizations that having the right technology solution can improve their business's financial performance. 80% of businesses are thinking that way. And then 80% of the business decision makers recognize that digital transformation is important or mission critical to enabling them to achieve their business goals. These are very significant statistics on interviews taken businesses like yours who are living in this every single day. These are not just some enterprise class organizations talking about their cloud strategy. This is small and mid-market organizations that really need to realize these benefits. And of course, what do you get when you get there, right? It's certainly having that infinite scalability and flexibility to scale up and scale down as business conditions change to allow you to react more proactively, whether it's adding entities and or users or opening up operations in foreign locales, all kinds of things. Having the agility to be able to scale is key. Reducing your IT infrastructure maintenance costs, right? We already talked about the cost of doing upgrades and maintaining basically duplicate infrastructure or virtual machines and the periodic upgrade cycle. And even if you're doing it on platforms like Azure or Amazon Web Services, right? Managing and maintaining a legacy application in those environments, while more advantageous than leaving it on-prem, certainly has its challenges. But what a cloud application is going to do, it's going to improve access to the information, right? Make it available to the people who need to make those business decisions quickly. Get it out of reports and get it out of a client server application into their hands quickly and easily, and creating greater mobility and collaboration. The other factors is about security and compliance. Many in attendance today are in financial services organizations or have real stringent security requirements. Very challenging to maintain those today in a back office system, right? Let the experts handle that, right? Oracle Cloud Infrastructure or Microsoft hosting services on Azure, they're going to be very, very well equipped to be able to manage and maintain that. And when you license today's business management applications, you're getting that cloud hosting infrastructure available for you anyway. So it really does improve your security. It does reduce your costs. And probably the most amazing thing that I've experienced as a loyal GP user and a fan of the product for many, many years is the fact that you can deploy upgrades so quickly. They become passive, right? Instead of it being that laborious event that I described before, just to get you to status quo, to get you where you are today and all of that expense, you'll be able to enjoy all of this innovation, the billions of dollars that's being poured in to the cloud, be able to have that seamlessly upgraded so that every 6 months, whether it's Oracle or Microsoft, taking advantage of those upgrades and empowering your staff to do more. So that's really exciting. And of course, improve disaster recovery and business continuity, get rid of the risk and make sure that you have that high availability that businesses today are looking for. So what are we doing here at Citrin Cooperman Digital Services to help, and how can we help? We want to help you to move with confidence. So what we're offering is free migration assessment services. And we'll help you choose from today's best-in-class cloud ERPs, the ones that we work with, right? Oracle or Microsoft, and help you decide what is the best move for you. We'll include comprehensive project scoping and requirements gathering. We'll help you with transition planning and managing timelines and resources, and most importantly, putting together realistic project budgets to get you from point A to completion on time and on budget. And then also through certain programs that we're partnering with Microsoft and with Oracle, be able to earn some implementation service credits, in some case worth up to $6,000. So the first part is really that free assessment, migration assessment, understand what the cloud can do for you, understand what Citrin Cooperman Digital Services can do for you. And then if it makes sense to move forward, being able to enjoy that level of cost savings as it relates to this migration. And in that Business Central Migration Assessment, we're going to help you accelerate to get the AI-powered technologies that you want, to be able to innovate faster and stay ahead of your competition and move with the agility that we've been talking about. And as far as Oracle is concerned, potentially being able to enjoy a unified database with CRM, outstanding multi-entity management and intercompany transaction processing, continuous upgrades and improvements, and a very robust security environment that's going to have your business operate safely and securely for many years to come. And circling back to that last interesting piece, web enabling your GP data with a modern workforce application like Power BI. What it enables us to do is by connecting to your GP environment, and we know the GP database and back end, we can consume that information into a Microsoft Cloud. And using the TASE technology, be able to give you ad hoc access to your information on your terms, whether it's on a mobile platform or tablet. But as important as having a new technology tool to be able to deal with your business issues each day, it also gives us an environment where when we're converting over the data into the new ERP platform, we don't have to take the entirety of your history. We can leave that up here in the cloud, right? We can then merge the data when you have a new cloud ERP, whether that's Business Central or Oracle, and be able to continue on with this investment. And what this does is it gives you a taste of what the robust nature of the cloud is all about. So these are very exciting technologies, whether you're ready to talk ERP replacement or really want to start to learn and experience cloud for yourself. I think we have several compelling tools that are available to help you achieve that. And so finally, as we wrap up close to the bottom of the hour, just a little bit of a recap. Microsoft Dynamics GP end of life is here, right? We know that extended support ends by 2031. We know the rigors it's going to take to maintain status quo. We know that we can help you with planning to adopt to cloud-based technologies, and we'll help your business with increased efficiency and reduced risk. Right? We want to help you make the right choice for your business, and we're going to do so providing a free assessment and some implementation incentives to help you along the way. So we're very excited about these possibilities. Certainly do reach out to us if you have any questions or would like some follow-up, and we'd be very excited to chat with you. And want to thank you all for taking the time to be with us here today.